Right. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I'm just going to do a little bit of a sound check just to make sure that everything is all good. And I'll wait for anyone who wants to come in and join. If you're watching this on replay, then hello. And I hope you enjoy this short video where I'm going to be talking about my Jean-Michel Jarre piano album. So just bear with me one moment. Excellent. Okay, we'll make a start. So, as some of you may be aware, I have started writing a Jean-Michel Jarre piano cover album where I've been taking his music and arranging it for piano, focusing and highlighting, I guess, the sort of the simplicity and the beauty of the music, stripped away from all the electronic sound effects and all of the textures, and just bringing it back to simple basic piano. And I think it actually highlights just how, particularly in his early career, he used a lot of conventional classical sort of harmonic progressions. And yeah, you'll hear that a lot of the pieces do have quite similar chord progressions and similar harmony, and you can really kind of hear how that kind of stayed in his stylistic vocabulary, if you like, in the first part of his career. Now, I had planned to do one album covering tracks from all of his, from his full discography, but it was just becoming a bit of a monster and a bit overwhelming, and I just felt like it was going to become too bloated. And so I decided I'm going to do it in two volumes. And this first volume is going to take us from Deserted Palace through to Oxygen 7 to 13. And then the next volume, because I just feel like Oxygen 7 to 13 was the end of a chapter, really, for him. And I think things changed and his style and his direction changed a little bit after that point. So I felt that that was the period that I wanted to cover in this first volume. So yeah, I wanted to just go through really and show you the official track list. It's in the order as well, and I've recorded quite a lot. There's not too much left to go, and there's going to be hopefully be a release of the album exclusively from my website ryanyard.com at the end of March. I've decided to just do it exclusively from my website. I am migrating my music across from Bandcamp as well, because I want my website to be really the sort of the central hub for for my music. So yeah, so what we'll do, I'll try and keep an eye on any comments. If you've got any comments, please let me know. I'm trying to keep an eye on it here. So yeah, let's go through and see what track listing I have. Now, it was kind of hard to decide, but the reason I chose these pieces was I felt that they translated best onto the piano, and they kind of brought out the best of the music that I felt. But of course, you could do covers of all of his music, but these are the ones that I've kind of gone for, and I hope you'll like my choice. So the first track is going to be Bridge of Promises from Deserted Palace. Now, this one I think, actually works really nicely for piano. It's got a really kind of yearning, expressive sort of verse section, if you like, and then the chorus works really nicely. It lies very comfortably under the fingers, and yeah, I think it's a good choice. I looked at some of the other pieces from Deserted Palace because some of them are quite classical, but I felt this was the one that I think worked the best. Then track two, some of you have already heard this already, which is Oxygen Part 1, the very first piece from his Oxygen album. And again, I think this one really translated well for piano. And it's on my website, it's on YouTube now for you to have a listen to as a sort of a sneak peek, if you like. Yeah, I think this one works really nicely. So that's track two. Track three is going to be Equinox Part 2. Now, again, Equinox Part 2, I just think is one of his most beautiful pieces. It's very haunting. It's very orchestral, and lovely kind of harmonic changes. It's very dark, quite somber, but it's a really, really beautiful piece. And I've been experimenting with how to play it on the piano. I've done a few different kind of versions, and this one I still have yet to record. And I'm going to probably say that this is going to be the hardest one for me to get down and get it sounding really good. It's a tough piece, just because it is so beautiful, and it's trying to get those textures and trying to get everything across in a way that isn't too bloated, isn't too over the top. So yeah, that one is still left to go. So that's track number 3. And do ask any questions if you've got any questions. I can see there's people in the chat. If you've got any questions, let me know. Track 4, Magnetic Fields 5. So this obviously is a little bit more of a lighter piece. I felt like it was worth having some pieces that were a little bit lighter in mood. And again, this one works quite nicely on the piano, and I'm quite happy with the way it's come out. It's shorter, and it's a little bit more of a kind of a palette cleanser, if you like. Track 5, Souvenir of China, from the concerts in China. So yeah, I mean, this one was one of the first pieces I actually did on the piano, and I felt like it just worked. You know, it sounded really good on the piano. Again, it's a very simple piece. It hasn't got a lot going on, so you can really sort of focus in on the harmony and the chord progressions. And again, it's quite mournful, isn't it? It's quite a sad piece, but one of his most popular, definitely. Track 6 from the Zuluk album is Ethnicolor 1. Now, this is a big epic track. This is a long track, and obviously for those who've heard the original, you'll know that it's absolutely kind of laced in sounds and voices and different languages, and there's so much going on in it. Now, how do you possibly translate that down to the piano? Well, surprisingly easily, actually. A lot of it, when you strip away all of those sounds and all of those effects, you're actually left with quite an exposed chord progression, and it gets quite orchestral towards the end. Now, I haven't finished this one, but I have done quite a bit, and there is, again, a little sneak peek of that on this YouTube channel, so go over and have a little look if you haven't already. But I think this one's really good, and I think it works really well as a piano solo. Track 7 is going to be Industrial Revolutions from the Revolutions album. I was originally going to do The Immigrants because that one really translates very well for piano, but I thought, you know what, we're going to try and go for this kind of big dramatic one again. So you got Ethnicolor, which is obviously quite a big piece, and then this is also another fairly big, substantial piece. And again, quite nice the way it fits for the piano. There's lots of different sections. I even put a little reference to Oxygen 2 in it. I like to try and, mix things up a little bit if I can. So yeah, that's going to be track 7. That one is done, all complete. Track 8 is Rendezvous 3, Laser Harp, which again is on the YouTube channel for you to have a listen to, obviously from the album Rendezvous. I was tempted to do Rendezvous 2, and that one for most people probably makes the most sense, but I just felt like I really like Rendezvous 3. I think it's really, really beautiful piece, and I think that one actually does work better for the piano. Now, in an ideal world, I'd do Rendezvous 2 as well, but, it's a bigger piece, and I have to be a bit choosy about which ones I'm doing so that it doesn't end up, getting away from me a little bit there. Track 9, Calypso 3 from Waiting for Cousteau. This is another one that you can get a sneak peek of on the YouTube channel, so do check it out. This one works really nice, very melodic, quite simple, and yeah, again, I think this one fits really well for the piano. Track 10, Chronology Part 3 from Chronology. This one I actually have done a piano cover of before, and I think it might even still be up on the YouTube channel, but I am doing a new version of it, arranging it slightly differently. And again, when you listen to it, you realize just how steeped in the kind of romantic era it is, the kind of the harmony, the melodic writing. It really is a very classical sounding piece, and it obviously translates very well to, to the piano. Equally, it could be easily arranged for, other instruments, like a little chamber ensemble. Hi, Berend. I hope you are doing well. I'm liking the cardiacs uh, avatar there. I will be talking about cardiacs just in a bit as well, so do stick around. Okay, we're almost there. And then the final track, track 11, is going to be Oxygen 13, from obviously his sort of sequel album, if you like. This is another one that's just a really beautiful track. I remember when I heard it when the album first came out, and again, it's so simple. It's like Souvenir of China, very, very simple, but it's a really sort of gorgeous track. And I was working on it actually today, and it sounds really good on the piano, and I'm happy with it in terms of the arrangement. So I'm actually planning to try and record that tomorrow. So that is my 11 tracks for Volume 1, and this is going to be available towards the end of March. Please do bookmark my website, www.ryanyard.com, because that's pretty much where all the information and all of my releases will be now. You won't really get anything new on Bandcamp, and all of my albums are kind of migrating to my website. So if you want to sort of stay up to date with what I'm doing and be able to purchase the things that I do in the future, then you are going to need to make sure that the website is your first port of call. End of March is the plan to release it. I think it'd be really exciting. And as I said, depending on how well it does and the success of it, then the plan would be to do Volume 2, which will be a very different beast, dealing with, his albums from Metamorphosis up to present day, Oxymore. And that's obviously going to provide quite a challenge to me, because the music changes, doesn't it? His style changed quite a bit in later years. So it's trying to find ways of putting that across. But this first volume, I think, will be a really nice way to enjoy his music and enjoy listening to his music in a different way. And I hope everyone would enjoy it. So if anyone has any questions about the Jean-Michel album, then please leave them here. I've just got a couple of other things I wanted to just share with you just before I finish as well. And please do share with Jean-Michel Jarre fans. There might be some people who aren't aware of me or my channel. And if you think it's something that they might enjoy, then please do share. So here's my plans for 2026, going into 2027. So first is, as you know, the Jean-Michel Jarre piano cover album. Then towards the end of summer, I'm going to be also doing the same, but for Mike Oldfield. It's going to be a selection of pieces from his complete sort of discography, if you like. Maybe in one volume, possibly two. I haven't quite reached the decision yet as to how many tracks, and I'll get to that. And then finally, to kind of conclude my trilogy, I'm also going to be doing a Cardiacs piano album as well, and I'm going to be covering selections of their pieces for piano. And I think the one thing that I always try to do with my piano covers is, there's going to be some people out there who do very big, dramatic, virtuosic kind of arrangements, but I always tend to try and go more for the kind of subtle, more expressive, gentle interpretations, and that's going to be a common thread throughout all of my interpretations. It's trying to bring out the simplistic beauty of the music with as little notes as needed. I'm not really big into superfluous, like tons of notes for the sake of it. It's trying to just bring out the very best of the music in the best way that I can. And I would love, to do a live performance or concert next year, where perhaps I can do a concert that brings all three of those albums together, and I can do a concert that I can share with people. But of course, 2027 is a little bit of a way away, but that's something that very much is on my horizon. But in terms of 2026, that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm going to have much time to do much more. I was working on my Nature of Solitude 3 album, but yet again, I think it's going to be pushed back, because this is going to take up quite a lot of my time. But that's okay. I'm quite happy doing it. It's getting me playing the piano a lot more. You know, as people who know me as a teacher, I don't get a lot of time to play, whereas now I am actually having to play the piano quite a lot more to work on these arrangements. So that's really good. So that's the plan really for 2026. So I hope that you all find that exciting. So you've got Jean-Michel Jarre, end of March, Mike Oldfield, summer, late summer. Cardiac's probably going to be heading towards winter, maybe Christmas. That could be like a little Christmas gift, couldn't it? Yes, I think maybe that's what I'll do. Make that towards more the Christmas period. So thank you very much for stopping by. I hope that's whetted your appetite a little bit. As I said, the Jean-Michel Jarre, there are 3 tracks available on my YouTube channel that you can already listen to, so you can get a bit of a sense of my style and how I'm approaching it. And yeah, if anyone's got any questions, leave them now. Otherwise, if you're on catch up, then please do leave a like and a comment. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, it'd be really good if you could subscribe. I'm trying to get the channel moving along. It's a hard old game, YouTube, but you know, I'm trying my best to keep that going. And yeah, I will see everybody around, hopefully, and I will give you more updates soon. But as I said, ryanyard.com, that's where you want to be kind of heading to. So please do bookmark that so you know exactly where to go to find all of my information. So thank you very much. I'm going to finish my recording there, and I will see you all very soon. Take care.